Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Karen and I am bringing you a video today. Finally in the kitchen. Yay! It's been many months since I've been in the kitchen and sorry, my dishwasher's going. And I'm happy. I'm happy today, and it's finally the cooler weather has come in. It's not so hot. You can turn on the oven now without like burning your eyeballs out. So today's recipe is pumpkin cake 3 from All Recipes, and the lady who's created the recipe is Sue Case. So props to her for making this recipe. And the funny thing is, I didn't realize that I made it before. You know, you go along the All Recipes and you look for the recipe that looks good to you and looks like it's going to be a good one. And I had my review there, which was nice to see that I've done this before, and so since I've done it before and I did a review, I know it's going to be good. Okay, so we're going to start with all the powders, the flours. I'm going to sift the 2 cups of all-purpose flour with 3 teaspoons baking powder, 2 teaspoons baking soda, and 1/4 teaspoon salt. So I already have that right there in a little container, and I'm just going to sift that right now. Not going to see my lovely face and all this up there, but I'm going to bring it down so you can see where the action's at. Alrighty, okay. So I got my soda, my powder, my flour, my salt, everything is in that little container. Now, I don't have a sifter right now. I have one of these things. Somebody that is in the kitchen more, baking more, might know what this is called. But I buy sifters, and I use them for a year, 2, maybe 3 years, and eventually they rust because the inside of the can is tin and it just rusts. So after a while, you gotta throw it out. So that's all that is right there. Is all that. Now you didn't see me add everything in. I just cut little corners there just to take up less time. Now, you can make a sheet cake, you can make a couple rounds, but today I'm making a bundt cake. I think it looks a little bit more polished, and I'm going to do like a cream cheese frosting. So I have this here, and then I'm going to do my spices. If you want, you can measure them. I don't. I've been in the kitchen for a while. I know it works well. This is cinnamon. And I am actually going to put in a pumpkin pie spice that I got a couple years ago, I think. I like to make mine really spicy and really, just so that when you bite into it, there's a kick that you're going to taste. Right away, your palate is going to notice those spices coming out of that cake. So sorry, that was cinnamon. Second one was pumpkin pie spice. Third one was nutmeg, and I'm going to do a little bit of allspice right here. Just a little bit. I know allspice is a little powerful. That's all. Okay. Grab my utensil here. I'm just going to whisk this all together. Got all those spices to marry together. And I think we're just going to set this aside. Also, the coffee is dripping in the background. Need the coffee. Okay, so now we're going to start on the wet. Okay, so the wet is blend sugar and oil, but like last time I'm going to use some applesauce because that's a lot of oil they're calling for. They're calling for 1¼ cups of oil, and that is just way too heavy, way too much grease. So I like to do applesauce, and that was recommended by the other viewers or reviewers. And this applesauce, believe it or not, is my mom's. She made it. She has an apple tree in her yard, and usually she doesn't use the apples because they don't stay as longer. They're small and they drop off the tree. But this year they stayed on and they grew big, and she's been making pies and applesauce and you name it. So this right here is my mom's applesauce, the special one. Okay, so naughty. My niece is sitting over here on the couch just looking at me like, that's my Aunt Karen. She's crazy and I love her. Okay. So, and vanilla, which was somewhere. So the sugar was 2 cups. The oil was 1/2 cup. The applesauce was 3/4 cups. And the vanilla is a teaspoon. I most of the time just really do not measure out vanilla unless it's a very specific go-to recipe. It might have been between the teaspoon and the tablespoon, but I like more flavor. I'm a flavor gal. Okay. Oil, vanilla, and pumpkin. And you know what? The can that I had, I think, was 15 ounces. And it gave me about 1 3/4 cups. And I just didn't want to open and waste another can for just about 3 ounces of it. So, just to let you know that. As you see, I'm a little short. I know I'm a little short with it. And speaking, the eggs is the next step. And I can't believe how expensive these are. The eggs are right now. They're like $3.25, $3.50 just for a dozen of eggs. It's like ridiculous. So that makes baking hard, I'm sure, for everybody right now. It's either gas is high, or milk is high, or eggs are high, or butter's high. They's always got to get you somewhere. But I'm glad butter did go down a little bit, because paying $4 for, you know, or $4.50 for one thing of butter was just ridiculous. Redonkulous. It was redonkulous. Okay, so I'm going to take this over here. And I like to bring this out here and then put it in, because sometimes if you put it in, you set it up, then you're having to work around the beater. And it's better to do it that way for my liking. Plug it in. And make sure that you, if you can see, turn it up a little bit. This right here, and with the KitchenAid, there's like kind of like a spring that comes down. You got to make sure that you wash this really well in between baking or whatever uses, because it can get sick with oil and whatever else. So then it's hard to put the paddle on. Is that on? Yes, it is. Yay. Okay. Oven should be at 350, guys. Sorry about that. If you want to look up the recipe yourself, you can go to All Recipes and look up Pumpkin Cake 3 by Sue Case. Harvest time. For me, I'm a Christian. I don't believe in Halloween. I did when I was younger, and I have a little couple of scarecrows and pumpkins and cute little festive stuff around right now. And I remember when I was a kid, my brother, we all loved Halloween when I was a kid. And my brother would make he was just so crafty and so kind of like sneaky. He made like a ghost, and we had this big, beautiful oak tree, and that is what I miss most of all from my childhood. Just a little bit of information here. I miss that big, beautiful oak tree in the front yard. The leaves were just so beautiful. I just sit on the hammock on the porch and just swing back and forth, and just like, it's just, if you've ever seen just a beautiful oak tree, I know that sounds weird, but you have a hard time not to look at it. So he would rig that ghost over the oak tree, the branch of an oak tree, and he would pull the line, the rope, up to the porch, and he'd like lay on his belly, like, you know, Mission Impossible. And every time trick-or-treaters went up the pathway, he'd move the ghost up and like he'd pull the rope so the ghost moved up and down. Scare the daylights out of all the kids in the neighborhood. And that's just, you know, my brother just was so, he loved all of the holidays when he was a kid. You know, you get older and you have kids of your own and you don't think about stuff so much like that. Okay, usually you do one at a time, but these are so small. I'm gonna do two at a time. Just gotta get her some coffee. Well, me too. I need some coffee. She's standing behind the camera with the lip gloss going. She's 18 years old, you know, at that age, they're just very energetic and just, so she's just a goofball. I love her. So, she's doing. My life just seems so much brighter when he's around, really. Truly, truly. She doesn't like me to get mushy a lot, though. She just kind of, she's a ham. She just laughs at everything. I'm not going to overmix this. I heard the number one thing that you should not do in a recipe is overmix it. So I try not to do that. Just mix it enough until everything's incorporated. If you're new at baking, I got these organic brown eggs. And normally I do not get brown eggs. Normally I don't get organic, but they're actually cheaper than the regular eggs. Not a video about your nails. I don't give a shit about your nails. I just want to know what's next. I talk to myself all the time. Like, do. Okay, now, right. So this is done, and my niece so graciously greased this bundt pan that I have that I'm ready for this pumpkin cake. And I got my nails done yesterday, so that's just why I didn't do it myself. And this is what pumpkin cake should look like. Just very nice and creamy. And what I'm going to do is take this down a little bit so that way you can see me pouring it in. Oh, goodness. It is a bit tricky, though, I find, to pour into the bundt because you gotta keep on turning it. And I am going to have a cream cheese frosting for this. Now I was going to do like a full thing of cream cheese, but I'm not sure I want it that thick. I might do usually how much butter you use is how much cream cheese. So I might just use like half a stick of butter, a half a thing of cream cheese instead of making it and drizzle it on there and have like a nice drizzle instead of like a really thick. Okay. So this is not the spatula I use everything for. That is not getting the job done. I need my go-to spatula. And it just got done in the dishwasher. Oh, I can't see anything. Everything's steaming up. Sorry, I steamed y'all out. Let me just... Okay, this is my go-to spatula. I bought it at Macy's. It was like $8. A lot of money, but it's been well worth it. It does everything. And I know it's hard to get excited about a spatula, but it really has just, it gets everything. It gets every little nook and cranny. I mean, my grandmother.
Yeah, I get excited about Ninja Turtles.
I hope you heard that. My niece is like, hey, I get excited about Ninja Turtles. Oh, that's so funny. If my grandmother had this tool when she was baking, she would not have scraped so much. My grandmother was one of those ladies, God bless her soul, she's not here with me anymore, who just had to get every little ounce, every little piece, every little whatever you had in that bowl into the dish, into the baking dish, into the plate. You know, that's just the kind of lady that she was, because, you know, you go through the Depression, and our generation has no idea what that was like. And, you know, the Depression where they didn't have a lot of food, and you had to just make every little ounce, just make it into, like, sometimes we would surprise my grandmother, and she just and my grandfather would be having dinner, and the whole 6 of us, our whole family, would show up, and she'd make a 2-person meal into an 8-person meal. I don't know how she did it, but every single time she did. And God bless her soul for it, because she taught me how to bake, and taught me how to roll out pie crust. She taught me her pie crust recipe, and without it today, I don't know where I would be, because yeah, you can buy the things in the store where they roll out, and that's super easy, and you can buy the frozen crust for pecan pie at Christmas time, but you know, and the crust that she made, it's a patchable crust, you know, the ones that roll out in the store. So that's what that looks like. Nice. So I'm going to put it in the oven for about half an hour at 350. But the ones that roll out in the store, you can't really patch them. But the ones that the recipe that she gave me, I'm not sure if I've ever shared that with you. It's been still my little secret. So we'll see. But I'm going to pop this in the oven, and we'll be back in a little bit with the cream cheese frosting recipe. God bless you. Okay, so I already put the cake in the oven, the button pan. And just don't forget to, at the end, I know it might be silly to y'all, but I pray over my food. I pray that it's going to cook well, that it's going to come out well, that it's going to cool well, and that it's going to be like the most delicious thing ever. I do. I pray over my food. But what you have to do is you have to kind of shake. You got to twist the pan a little bit and maybe kind of like jar it down a little bit. Not so much that everything's going to go flying out, but that way it gets settled into all the grooves. That way when it comes out, whether it's a round or if it's a bundt pan, that all the lines are going to be exactly the way it is in the pan. You got to shake it down a little bit just to get it settled on the bottom, because sometimes it doesn't, and you just come out with a, you know, especially if you don't want to cover it all in icing, you just want to drizzle a little bit. You want to see that design come through. All right, so I will be back. Excited. Okay, so I'm back, and this came out really, really, really nice. Like I said, you shake it down a little bit. It's still just a teeny bit warm. I put it in the freezer, right in the bundt pan. Put it in the freezer for about 20 minutes. And then I took it out. I flipped it over. Came right out. Once it starts to pull away from the pan, you know it's time. And put it on the plate and put it in the freezer for about 10 more minutes. And it's ready to be decorated, just so you see that, just a really nice. The taste wasn't there like it was last time in the other video. Let me try that again. I'm missing something. I'm missing something. I put in I just taste that I'm missing something. I'm going to ask my niece to come forward. Over your knees. Taste that for me.
Tastes good.
Is it missing anything? Do you taste it?
Nope, it tastes awesome.
Is it really?
Yeah.
You just all out love it?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. Well, she has a palate that is more fresh than mine. Maybe it's the consistency, because last time it was like a hard spread, and this is light and airy, and so maybe it is. Maybe I just need to have it on the cake and taste it on the cake. So, okay. She says it's good, and if she says it's good, I think that it is good. I think I'm used to a more of an icing, like a what you call it, like a icing from the store, like a Pillsbury icing. It's not going to be such a drizzly project. I'll just kind of do it like that. You know what? The drizzle is just not going to work today. I'm just going to do the whole thing. If it covers the whole thing, fine. Sometimes you plan on doing something, this is a great example, and it just doesn't work out. You know, it just doesn't do what you think it's going to do. That's what life is in the kitchen. And hopefully this is going to just set up nice. And with powdered sugar, after a while, it's just going to kind of sit in there and be get stiff and get hard. So I'm hoping for that within 10 to 20 minutes after I do this. This is not the best technique, the best way. I tried the drizzle, didn't work, and so let's just. Maybe I'll just try to do. I have no idea. I planned on one thing and something else is happening, and usually my OCD would be out of control. Like, what is going on? I'd get so mad. But you know what? And I did want a really nice polished look at the end. But the taste, overall, when you taste something, when you think about the recipe that you tried back 3 years ago, you don't really think about how did it look, how was the presentation. You think about that tasted so good, right? So
Yes.
So you can mess up, you can do whatever, but as long as that taste is there, then we are good to go. I'm just gonna do a couple little dollops on the inside. Let it fall on the inside. And if this is what it looks like, then so be it. So be it. And again, you know, if I didn't do this, I'd be wasting all that yummy cream cheese and butter that I just put on there. And man, you don't. That's more of a crime than a messy cake. To waste all that good stuff.
Yes, I'm gonna eat it.
My niece is ready. I probably should have taken a piece out and just cut it a little bit to see what it was without the icing, but too late. But you know what? I have more ingredients in my fridge and in the counter, so if I want to do this again, I can just cut the recipe in half or in a quarter. I'm trying to set this up. It just wants to keep on falling and alright, so that is not the most physically appealing cake. It is not looking all that great, but I cannot wait to eat it. So I might pop it back in the freezer for about 10 minutes until this sets, and then there we go. So there it is, and I thank you so much for watching. And I will later have a piece, and I will add that onto this. So thanks so much, and thank my niece for the little inputs that she gave and all that stuff. And really glad that she was here today while I made this. So God bless you all, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.